We'll get started. I believe it was around noon yesterday. We got a call to the Guthrie resident 4 years. We expended a lot of resources for a missing person that we typically always do. Our search and rescue volunteers, our search and rescue teams, other agencies, Borstar from Border Patrol sent their canines out. They worked tirelessly all day yesterday and all day tonight. I'm sorry, all day yesterday, all last night. To no avail. As I said yesterday, we saw some things at the home that were concerning to us. We believe now, after we processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking the community's help. This community has always stepped up to help us solve some pretty tough crimes. I'm looking for that again. This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal. So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen, to contact us, call 911. We don't need another bad tragic ending. We need some help. Our team is the best. I couldn't speak.
But what does it mean we don't need another tragic ending? We need some help. So I don't know what he's referring to there. So we can see that this guy, right from day one, is completely out of his depth. He is out of his depth. He looks uncomfortable. And he didn't know then, probably, just how this case was going to grab the whole nation and even the world. And this is it. The whole eyes of the world are in now, looking in on this department. And this is what they're seeing.
Any higher. I think you know that. We have done some great work with our partners in the Valley. You know, this community, I have to give a lot of thanks to our law enforcement agencies all across this Valley, whether it's the Tucson Police Department or some of the smaller agencies. They've all reached out. They've all offered to assist. The FBI, all of them. We work so close with them, and they are all plugged in. We'll continue to work closely with them. But what I really need is I need this community to step up and start giving us some calls. Let us know if you've seen something.
Well, you've got to be careful what you ask for, haven't you? Because now they're saying don't phone up. Don't phone up just because you've got an opinion or a theory or a whatever. That's what they came out and said the other day. Only phone up if you've got, real concrete sort of evidence and that. And a lot of ex-detectives and ex-FBI people that speak out on these podcasts are saying, no, they shouldn't say that, because when you've got no clue what's happened to someone, although, it is time consuming, isn't it, going through all the tips and everything, because they are getting a lot. But you can't say to people, no, don't phone up with a tip, because that person doesn't know if their tip is important or not. Sometimes it can just be that one little thing. It's not as if they've got a working theory to be going with, so they don't need those tips. They need them because they haven't got a bloody clue what's happened to this poor woman. So that it could be just one phone call from someone with an offhand comment. I don't know, my neighbour's got a backpack like that, or that ski mask has got a ski mask like that. Only takes one offhand comment for it to lead to the solving of the case. So yeah, this is where at the beginning, Nanos, he was asking for help from the community. Now they're saying only phone up if you've got a definite tip. But the thing is, you don't know what's a definite tip. You know, if I'd seen a strange man outside my house, you know, just before something terrible had happened along my road, well, I wouldn't know if he was involved or not. And I think most people think, you know, oh, I don't want to bother the police. You know, most people, I mean, you do get the wackos who will be ringing up just for attention and things. But I think most people, they're less likely to phone the police. They don't want to bother people. Oh, no, it's probably nothing. You know, so yeah, they need all the tips they can get because they haven't got a clue.
We are right now at a time, and I apologize, everybody tells me I talk too softly. We are at a time where, in this investigation, we're now moving forward, where we need to depend on technology. You know, our license plate readers, our camera system thing, and we will download all that data we have from the home, from different pieces of technology we've gotten, and we will use that to our advantage. But the reason I bring this up is that, you know, I'm a cop. I hate politics, but I have to remind our political leaders that they need to quit this banter of every time law enforcement leaders come to you for a need, that you give up these ridiculous remarks about how it's going to be misused. AI is a bad, evil word. The cameras are very bad and evil. I'm tired of that. Those tools in the right hands, with the right minds and the right approaches, are extremely valuable to solving crimes just like this. We need those.
Yes, we do. And we also need, so, you know, but then don't forget he's criticising like the streamers and people like that, or he has done. Thing is, you can't, with modern technology, you can't, and the way modern life is now, you can't just take the things that you agree with and say, oh, they're good, but not the things that you don't agree with. If he doesn't agree with social media or, you know, whatever, but it's part of life now, just like the technology is part of life now. It's part of life, for good or bad. And like everything, some of it will be good and some of it will be bad. But he doesn't like the scrutiny. He's not used to the scrutiny. This man, scrutiny doesn't sit well on him because he's got feet of clay. He'll bend under scrutiny because he is not good at what he does. He's not competent. So scrutiny does not suit him.
We need more staffing. We need a lot of things. But what I really need is I need the community's help with this. So I want to make sure before I take any questions, it is a crime scene. We know that she needs her daily medication. And anybody that sees anything that even looks, hey, maybe that's her, just take a quick picture. Take a video, send it to us. The number is real easy here.
So take a picture. Yeah, take a picture. Yeah, of course. Anyway, God, I've forgotten what else I was going to say then when he was, oh God, what did he say? Oh, she needs a meds. Oh, that's right. He's reading from that. He's not even speaking spontaneously. He doesn't, you know, you don't feel like what he's saying is coming from the heart or from real knowledge of the case, or he looks uncomfortable. He's reading he's checking on the thing. What have I got to say next? He's not prepared, is he? He's not very well prepared in any interview that I've seen him in, never mind the press conferences. And that, again, reflects on his competency. If he wasn't ready for the press conference, he should have, you know, practiced beforehand the bullet points of what he wanted to say. He just looked so uncomfortable and so unprepared.
locally, it's 911. You can contact our 88 crime and remain anonymous. You can call me, anybody. I am here to take any questions you may have. It will be a little limited. I apologize for that, but we do have a crime that we need to protect its integrity. I have here Sergeant David Stivers from our homicide team. He has been up all night, so bear with us if we are a little bit fuzzy in our answers and responses.
You've been up all night, but so straight away they had the homicide team on it. So they knew it was a homicide, or they feel that it's a homicide right from the beginning because they've involved the homicide team right from the word go, but they didn't keep the crime scene tape up. And even now, random people are just walking onto Nancy's property and taking photos. Tourists. That's how they described themselves to JLR when he asked them who they were. He thought it was law enforcement because they just pulled up, got out the car and trampled onto Nancy's property. And JLR went out and said to them, are you law enforcement? They're like, no, we're tourists. Bloody ridiculous. But that's not their fault. That's not even the tourists' fault. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's the police's responsibility. It's law enforcement's responsibility to preserve a crime scene. It's not the responsibility of the public to not go on that crime scene. That's just not the way it is. It's their responsibility to preserve it. How were those people allowed to just trample onto Nancy's property? There should be crime scene tape all around her property, including the garden.
But we're both here for any questions you may have. Let's start, please.
Recognizing your limitations, but can you elaborate at all on what makes you believe it's a crime scene as opposed to someone who left home and just couldn't find their way back?
Walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own. We know that.
If you don't have plate readers, is there a vehicle associated with this?
We're when I told you we're now at the phase where we're looking at all the technology, all of that is being evaluated as we speak. Let me say this: we've not just thrown our search and rescue team out there. They are going to be doing some door-to-door with our criminal investigation team. It is not just our homicide unit, all of our criminal investigation detectives. I went out last night and all work in this case. It takes a lot of manpower and a lot of energy. This team of mine worked throughout the night. They continue to work. David's had zero sleep, but he and his team are working as hard as they can.
Is there anybody else associated with her, a caregiver, family member, acquaintance, who is also missing and somebody?
No. The family, all of the family has been very cooperative with us. They're working with us. They're staying in touch with us. They have complete access to anybody on this department. Savannah has been in touch with us as well. Our hearts go out to them. This is their mom. She's just a great lady from what I've heard, and I feel for the family. We just want to find her and bring her back safe.
Sheriff, you mentioned that she didn't just walk out, but is there any additional information that you can give us on what may have alluded to this being a crime scene?
I wish I could. I really do. I know that everybody wants to know. So it would be inappropriate at this time.
Are there signs of breaking and entering or any forced entry, anything like that?
I again don't want to get into that. David, can you see anything here?
At this time, it's still a very active investigation. There were circumstances on scene that that we believe are suspicious in nature, I think is the best way to put it. But we can't really get into a whole lot of details with that.
Do you believe that this was targeted, or that it just happened to
Get all of that, but we just don't know.
do they have cameras in the home?
They do, and we're looking through some of them. Trying to figure out my phone. Well, you know, no, I don't think there's an active threat, but I hate to say that because, you know, there's a lot of work still to do.
You know, I mean, it's the way he's answering. I mean, he doesn't have the answers. I understand that. It's you know, he's not answering in a competent way, is he? No active threat, but apparently in Nancy's neighbourhood, you know, people are getting the alarm system. You know, anyone who didn't have cameras or alarm systems before, they're getting them now because, you know, they don't know, do they? They don't know. Was it targeted against Nancy, or was it just Nancy was the unlucky one? You know, it could have been anybody's house. Do you know what I mean? So I expect the neighbourhood are feeling extremely vulnerable, especially because we've seen loads of CCTV now from different places of random people trying to get into houses or whatever. So I think the fact that it's so dark there, it sort of tells us two things, you know. One, yeah, it's perfect. The darkness of that area is perfect cover for, you know, burglaries and things like that, I suppose. But also, to me, it says that whoever did it, they knew that area, because all the podcasters have said the same thing, that once it goes dark, if you didn't know that area, there's not a cat in hell's chance that you would have found that house by accident. You know, it's like you have to know the area because you can't see anything. So if you were a stranger to that area, how would you know which house to go to, or even know anything about that neighborhood? Or unless you had been staking it out for a while beforehand. You know, these are all things that conspire that make it very mysterious. So, you know, to me, right, this is just what I've seen other sheriffs say and other police forces in cases similar to this, where it's mysterious, is the answer to that question would be, we don't think, like I said, we don't think there's any active threat, but we'd advise people to be extra vigilant, make sure your windows are locked, make sure your doors are locked. We're going to have a higher police presence in the area just until we establish the facts. These are the things that you should be saying as the sheriff, to try and put people's mind at rest, that as long as there is a mystery, at least there'll be a higher police presence and giving people advice on what they should do. And if you want a deputy to call round to give you advice on how to protect your property, they used to do that in the UK. I remember in Manchester, you could phone the police would send someone round to your house and advise you, you know, with their experience of break-ins and things, go around your house and advise you what doors you needed, especially to be secured, what to do with your windows, you know, to give you advice, free advice. You know, you don't need, and then you get in a company to do whatever it is. There's so many other things he could have said that to at least make people feel more reassured.
We don't have any indication that that the public is in danger.
And what
On our search and rescue mission, and we've sent them home to rest. They were out all night. Look, we put all our aircraft, our helicopters, heat sensors, infrared, everything we've had, we've thrown at this. They're going to step aside. We'll call them out again, and if we need to to do more searching. Right now, we don't see this as.
Is that we don't see it so much as a search mission, it's a crime scene. What does that mean? So it's not a search mission, it's a crime scene. It's sort of both, isn't it? So odd thing, he says some odd things.
David probably can better answer it than I, but that is our search patterns, I believe. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with all the assets that we deployed yesterday with the search and rescue teams, the map that's on the screen is basically tracks that were followed. Those are all the colored are all ground different teams and different assets that were used on the ground to include the canine volunteers and our own search and rescue team. The circles are going to be representative, if not necessarily perfect, of our air circulation with our cameras. So difficult to see where the house is. This house is basically pretty close to center in that, and then all of the searching that went on throughout the day with those folks out there on the ground.
What this really helps with is our search teams, when they come back and reassess, maybe they've missed an area, we can look at it right again. Our rescue is top notch every single day. If it's not a lost person, it's a hiker, it's somebody who's wandered away from a care home, whatever it may be. I want to stress to you, right, and it is really important, Miss Guthrie, Nancy Guthrie, is of great sound mind. A dementia-related, her physical limits are based on just age and old, and so it's more physical, but clearly she is as sharp as a tack.
Does that present any practical?
We're with that as we speak.
If you have it, or
Can you give us more of a, because you said
There was it at 9:45 in the evening. Her children left her off. At some time earlier that morning, said, "Hey, your mom's not here." The house. They spent some time looking for her themselves before they called us. So I'm guessing maybe they got there around 11. So they did some searching and
it would have been taken from the home.
there's a lot of things working there, and I just can't say that right now.
Has Savannah Guthrie,
We've spoken to her with that. She has a security team that's been in touch with us throughout the night, but we're not going to dismiss any angles for sure. But right now, immediately, we don't know of anything like that.
is she in town or on the way here?
She's here.
Can you give us any more, what would somebody be looking for? Because that when I was out in the neighborhood, the neighbors are obviously incredibly concerned. But is there anything, a tip? I mean, one neighbor stopped me and he didn't know if he should call you or not.
Oh my goodness!
But so what should somebody be looking?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them, go through their cameras, go through their Ring cameras, whatever. Maybe it's somebody walking by. Maybe it's a vehicle driving by at that time of day. But go through all your cameras in that neighborhood and tell us if you see something. Maybe somebody already, we know this happens, right? Oh, I saw something suspicious, but I didn't think it was falling in, so I didn't. Well, now it's just in anything you heard. Maybe the neighbor telling you, "Oh, I saw this." Call us. Don't tell them to call. Tell the neighbor, but you call us. We'll put it together. We'll get calls. We'll handle that.
Yeah.
Did she live?
So he was asking.
I believe yes, she did.
that was at the time when he was asking for tips. Now he's asking people not to ring in anything, but now he's not saying that, of course. Right, okay. I think we've got this sort of, I don't know whether to watch this through to the end, because there's not long to go, to be honest, because I do think it's important to see what he was saying at the beginning. And now I know he wouldn't, I'll be fair to him, he probably was up all night, they didn't know much at that time, but I think it's important to remember what he said at the beginning versus what he's saying now.
Yeah.
Were there any caregivers who are normally associated with her?
Well, she has house staff that comes by, takes care of the yard, whatever, in her house and that. But those people we'll be talking with that have talked to some of them already.
But nobody who's like a live-in or.
Nobody actually lives with her, no. Like I say, she's a great sound mind. Challenge for her to get as a family. Says she couldn't walk 50 yards by herself. So.
Yeah. I wonder if they know that for a fact, because maybe she needed a walking stick to walk and the walking stick was left behind. So he said she couldn't walk 50 yards on her own or without help. But she obviously could walk a little bit, around her garden, or she could walk to the Uber or walk from a car into it, but probably with a walking stick maybe, or even a Zimmer frame. And if that had been left behind, they knew that she hadn't left that house walking under her own volition, because she didn't take her walking aids with her.
What else? Somebody asked about the FBI.
I'm sorry.
Somebody asked about the FBI.
We know that they have certain capabilities and certain resources, just as we have certain capabilities and resources. So yes, we'll work with them, and they offered assistance to us. We accept that assistance. I called us to handle a shooting that involved Border Patrol. You need to know that. That's just day-to-day routine work for law enforcement in Pima County in Tucson. We work very closely with our partners.
With the amount of time that's gone by, how wide do you cast in the net? Statewide, national?
Well, yes, national for sure. I'm hoping the national media's picked up on this. We've gotten a lot of reports, but statewide is things we use.
I wonder if he still feels like that. Saying I hope it gets picked up on, but maybe it's been picked up on more than he wanted now, because of course it's nationwide, even international now. And there was an Amber Alert yesterday, wasn't there? Even while JLR was on stream, an Amber Alert came through on everybody's phone, so they do work. A little girl that's disappeared, bless her. So yeah, Amber Alerts. I mean, we do have to remember, this is why as well, I think he should just push it over to the FBI, because they've got much more manpower available, because they've got other crime going on. Crime doesn't take a holiday because you're dealing with a high profile case and under so much pressure to get results. The rest of crime doesn't go away, so they're trying to deal with everything they normally deal with and this. And so it's just logical to give it to the FBI as far as I can see.
Every tool we have, we will use.
Very good.
You guys are too easy. Thank you so much. I apologize for being late. I apologize for my political rhetoric of the Board of Supervisors or the City Council. I just get so frustrated, and we just can't do this job without their support. We don't need political statements from the dais and mumbo jumbo. We need them to listen to their law enforcement leaders and really pay attention to the fact that we understand that there's a great potential for abuses in today's world with the technology that's available to us. But you have to, at some point in time, have some faith and trust in your leadership in the law enforcement community to know and understand that we too we're elected here
Yeah,
to provide a service to our community. I can't think of a community in this planet that wouldn't tell you, number one is public safety.
right. Sorry, it's whirring. I think we'll stop there. So that was Nano in his very first press conference. Now, he has done one more since then. I'm not going to subject you to that. Though I will look at that in another video if this case lingers on again. Because I do think it's important to see what you said in the beginning. And bear in mind, it's been over 2 weeks now before he's done a press conference. He's just been doing these very intimate, cozy media interviews with individual media outlets where he seems to have said conflicting things in different ones, got annoyed with them for even challenging him about anything. He's a funny little man, and I just don't have any confidence in him whatsoever. So what I think we'll look at now is we're going to look at the timeline. So as I say, in the